Hello everyone and welcome to this week's commentary on this was a game that was played in 1989. Red was Grandmaster Liu Dahua, black was Grandmaster Hu Ronghua, both are two legends in Xiangqi. The commentaries were provided by Master Yuan Wenqing and Zhang Qiang in their book Dubious Positions and How to Attack Them. They have kindly granted me permission to use the material to promote Xiangqi as I've made them into videos to share with all. So without further ado, let us begin. Grandmaster Liu Dahua started with the central cannon. And black chose to play the screen horse defense. Now red chose the third pawn advancement variation. Black countered likewise. And red chose to play c8 equals to 7 for the 5-7 cannons. Now the opening system is defined, and usually red would play h8 plus 9 before making this move. But since there was a slight alteration in red's move, black also made a small alteration. By moving the advisor, he would consolidate his defense, and this was an improvised move. Now, this was a firm counter and demonstrated the sense that Grandmaster Hu Ronghua had of the board. Now, what would happen if black was eager to attack with h3 plus 2? Now, red would immediately choose to advance his horse, threatening to capture the central pawn. And black should not capture the horse at this point. Otherwise, check, black will have the advantage. He will still form a blockade and will now threaten the material of this flank. So red can have the advantage if the horse black used the horse to capture the red horse. So after trading material, this red horse would become a menace, and it would have red would have the advantage of having more pawns so early in the game. So that is why h3 plus 2 should not be played. Now in this game, Grandmaster Liu Dahua played h3 plus 4, which is quite uncommon. Now the objective behind this move is not clear because it will only place the horse in danger. Now the sound move that should be played will be still to develop his left flank with h8 plus 9, and this would transposition back to a normal variation. But unfortunately, red made this dubious move, and immediately Grandmaster Hu Ronghua countered with c8 plus 3 to attack this horse, because this horse would not have any good positions to continue for further development. It would be placed in an embarrassing predicament. Now, one very important concept in Xiangqi is to know where you can further develop a piece that might be attacked in enemy territory and support it with enough backup. Now, with this move, red would have violated these two opening tenets because this horse would not have any good positions to further develop. Capturing the pawn is not an option because it will be entering enemy territory alone, and it will not be able to do much. So the red horse is placed in a very embarrassing predicament, and after much contemplation, red was forced to retreat his horse. Now this would obviously result in a loss of one move or one move initiative. Now, what would happen? What would happen if h4 plus 3 were played? Red would immediately advance his cannon, threatening to capture the pawn and go for a discovered check while initiating a trade of chariots. Red would be in all sorts of trouble. So, to prevent c8 equals to 3, red would be forced to push his pawn forward. threatening to attack the black horse, but the black horse would immediately advance to the riverbank. As can be seen, if you were to compare the position of this black horse to the position of this red horse would not have any good places to develop further, but this black horse could capture the central pawn, attack this left flank, etc., etc. There's a huge difference. So red will capture the pawn, but black will counter and capture the red's central pawn. And if we were to compare this position with this position, we can see that black would have many more options to consider to retaliate, and red would be in all sorts of trouble. One possibility is to move the horse, maybe retreat it away or capture the pawn, and play c8 equals to 5 for discover check to capture the red chariot. So there are many opportunities that are possible. So after much contemplation, Grandmaster Liu Dahua decided to take things with a grain of salt and retreat his horse. And by this time we can see that black would have seized the initiative away from red. Now black would retreat his cannon to the riverbank. Black develops the left chariot, hoping to make up for lost momentum. So at this point, this will be normal development. And in this situation, black chose to develop his chariot as a high chariot. Now, by making this move, black signaled that he was opting for a slow but very steadfast approach to the game, whereby he could exert more control and counter red's aggression more accurately. Now, if you chose to play p1 plus 1 to try to open up the position, red would trade pawns, and red's position is quite strong, and this would not be black would not have gained much in this attack. So that is why he chose to play r1 plus 3 to protect his central pawn. Red played r2 plus 4 to prevent black from applying another blockade, etc. Red tries to link the chariots on the riverbank, and it was now that black decided to push the pawn forward. And at this point in time, red made a questionable move with c5 equals to 4. Now, by making this move, red wanted to link his elephants up for defense. Unfortunately, he had ignored the attacking potential of black's material on the right flank, these 4 pieces over here. And because of this move, red's position will go downhill sharply afterwards. Now, instead, it was recommended that red could have played h3 plus 4 for this move, and the situation on the board would still be very complicated, but red would not be red would have his chances and have his opportunities to in a game ensuing game. A very nice move, a very brilliant skewer, and red's riverbank rank was immediately paralyzed. Now, as can be seen, red lost another move by advancing the chariot and then retreating it again. And he was forced to retreat the chariot over here, otherwise it would be a discovered check. And if for example, if the chariot moved here, it would be a discovered check, and red will lose his chariot. Again, black's cannon was relentless. And black, as can be seen in the past few moves, black these two very subtle moves by the cannon exploited Red's weaknesses, the weaknesses in Red's position nicely. Now, after making the two cannons, we can feel that Red's left flank was under a lot of pressure, and it was at this point in time that Black sacrificed a pawn. Now, this would start. This would mark the start of an offensive climax by Black. And how did Red respond to this situation? He was forced to retreat his chariot. Now, would it be possible to capture the pawn with the cannon? Obviously, capturing it with the chariot was not possible because the horse would have it captured. So what would happen if the cannon captured the pawn? Again, Black would initiate a trade of material, and after trading material, the pawn will now advance. It will be a terror, and as can be seen, Red will inevitably lose material. So by this, let's say if this was not given in a book, let's say if Red tried to move his horse to safety, Red will trade material, and Red will not dare to capture the cannon, or it will be a discovered check, and Red will lose the chariot. So this is what I think the Grandmaster Xiangqi and Lian Wenqing meant in the video. Sorry. So Red was forced to retreat his chariot further, and again Red simply captured the cannon, offering a trade of material. And as can be seen, the advisor, Red did not dare to use the advisor, or he will lose his chariot. And because of this short interlude, Black would now be able to link his pawns up on this flank, and this would apply tons of pressure on Red's left flank. Now Red tried to salvage the situation by advancing the horse, and Black advanced this pawn to add more pressure and also protecting this pawn, and thus disallow the horse from further development. As can be seen, if the horse moved here, the cannon will capture and initiate trade of material, and the pressure of the pawns would be too much for Red. At this point in time, Black tried c7 equals to 6. Now, this is obviously Red would be at a disadvantage, but the suggested move would have been a5 minus 6, whereby Red would gain an open line where he could move his cannon on the third rank to maneuver his material more accurately. Red would still have a playable game and would not fall so fast. Black would start to have more pressure and offering a trade of chariots. Of course, Black would refuse, as he had better move by preparing to charge the pawn across the river. And again, the Black cannon was advanced to threaten the horse, forcing further back. After trading pawns, Black prepared to develop his left horse. Now this would be the last weakness in his position, and he would now deal with it, and Red would be in deep trouble. And if the horse were allowed to be developed, Black can take his time to allow the horse to advance to Red's territory, and Red would be in trouble. Again, Black would still try to leave a line of development for the black horse. A nice move. By retreating the cannon, Black would be prepared to play c8 equals to 7 to threaten the red chariot and go for a smothered cannon checkmate. Now this was a very nice intermediate move, and which forced the red chariot out away from this file. And once it was away from this file, red would now attack this elephant in this manner. Now it was also an impeccable demonstration of the order of the moves by black. Red was forced to link his chariots again. He preparing to trade chariots. Of course, black would refuse to, and he would play very aggressively, choosing to continue to target the elephant on the bottom rank. And after trading chariots, again, red would try to dislodge this cannon, but they could have none of it. As can be seen, black's pieces have had red's pieces bound in chains, and red will now maneuver the last remaining horse into action. But as can be seen, the pressure brought about by this attack will be tremendous. Red tried to break free, but black would continue to attack. Threatening to capture the chariot, forcing it away. Here now, the chariot cannot move, or a discovered check would capture the chariot, etc. And red will be in an even worse situation. Capturing the horse. Red tried to launch a counter offensive, but it was simply too late. Capturing the advisor. Now, in the match, red tried to trade material. What would happen if he captured the cannon? This would be an immediate checkmate. So red tried to trade material, but of course black would have none of it, and he played very aggressively with this very brilliant move. Now in the match, red simply captured the horse. Now it would not be possible. Black would still lose if r2 equals to 3 were played, because this would be a discovered check, capturing the advisor, and horse cannon checkmate. So that was why red chose to capture the horse in this manner. But either way, it was simply too late. Now, after losing the chariot, although it would be a trade of material, it would be black's chariot horse versus red's two horses. And coupled with the fact that this horse will probably not be able to make it out alive, the disparity in the strength of the material was simply too great, and Grandmaster Liu Dahua resigned. Now, this was a very nice move, especially the attack by Grandmaster Hu Ronghua towards the end. So, a short recap. Central cannon, third pawn advancement versus greenhouse defense. Now, this was a move, rather unusual order of the moves, by playing c8 equals to 7 before developing the horse. And black countered nicely with a4 plus 5. And this was the questionable move that would lead to red's eventual deterioration in the position. There were no good lines for the red horse to be developed further, and black pounced on the chance to counter, forcing the horse back. And at this point in time, red would have seized the initiative away from red. Now, so far, the variations, the moves shown here are part of the normal lines, but black would have advanced the cannon as compared to the usual lines. A very powerful move. And this would be another questionable move by red, weakening his position greatly. A very nice move, p c2 plus 2 to skewer red's riverbank, forcing the chariot backwards, and another brilliant skewer. A pin, sorry, cannon pin. And a brilliant sacrifice, or an offer of the pawn, which red did not dare to capture and retreated his chariot. And as can be seen, things simply kept going downhill from here on. Trade of material. And another brilliant move to control and prevent the horse from further development while protecting the pawn. A very nice move by the Grandmaster. Red tried to salvage the situation, but to no avail. Another forcing move, and Red will take a little bit of time off from his attack to allow for development of his horse. A nice intermediate move by the Grandmaster, and as can be seen, Black was prepared to storm this flank. Tried to trade material. Of course, Black would have none of it. And the left horse will start attacking. A very powerful pin by this angular horse, guarding these two intersections. And Black will now utilize the high angular horse to attack. And Red loses material. I hope you have liked the work that I've been doing. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.